Alright, hi guys, this is my Winged Dragon, and I'm going to show you what I did to it, as in upgrades and modifications. So, we'll start at the nose. First things first, I upgraded the battery to a 3-cell 1300. The stock is a nickel metal hydride 9.6 volt 1000 milliamp battery, and it comes with a little foam insert up there that's supposed to keep your battery snug, but it does nothing, and it'll let your battery fall out no matter what battery you're using, because it happened to me. So I took that out, and this battery just happens to fit perfectly in there, where it sets in there and it doesn't fall out when you put this thing in. So I did that upgrade in the battery. I moved the receiver out of here and put it behind the servos back there. That gets it out of the way of the battery and the movement of the servos, which was a good thing. I also swapped the radio to a DX6i because the radio that came with it was crap. Move on to the wings. This is something I'm going to do, and I recommend you do, is these servos are really crappy servos. Like, it has a lot of movement, like a lot of dead space. I'll show you how much movement it has just from the servo. It can move that much just in the servo, and that's not including like the flex of everything. It can move a lot with all the flex and not snug parts, so I'm going to be changing these servos out to nicer 5-gram HXT 500s. So that one's even worse. I mean, you don't really notice it when you're flying, but I'm sure you will notice it once you upgrade new servos in it. I didn't touch the motor or anything because with a 3-cell battery it has tons of power, and I looked up the ESC and it can take up to a 4-cell battery, a 4-cell LiPo, so I mean that motor's fine. It puts out a lot of power with that setup. Now back at the tail, they have it set up with the 2 screws that go through up into the rudder, whatever that plastic piece, yeah, it goes through, and it just screws everything down, which is a good idea, and it works nice for like the first flight. But after that, it's foam, so foam is not really solid, and it can flex and compress, and that's what foam does, and that's what's happened to the rudder, where it all moves around and nothing's solid. So I just wound up putting glue, just hot glue, run it on, center everything, and just run hot glue around the parts on the seams, and it holds it snug. And also, the plane came with the tail boom. This happens with a lot of planes, is where the tail boom can rotate like that in there, which I wasn't surprised because that happened with the last one. And only thing that's holding it on is there's used to be 2 little screws that go in there. I mean, really tiny screws, and they weren't doing anything to hold that in place. So I took them out, I slid the tail out, I put glue and slid it in. I covered it with duct tape to make it look nice. And I slid it back in, I lined up the holes and just put one big screw through it, and it's solid. Haven't had to do anything with it. I took out the landing gear because it's not needed. This thing can take off from the grass or snow with no landing gear, and the landing gear doesn't even work. The wheels don't even roll with the wheel pans that come with it. But other than that, those are the modifications that I did to the plane to make it fly nice. So yeah, that's about it.